So, Hare Krishna. So, before we start the class, let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda Ji. Sri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Yeah. So, we are supposed to start from shloka number 8. Okay. Shariram yad avapnoti yaccha api utkramatishtishvaraha गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति vayurgandhan ivashayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Okay, here let's see what Prabhupada says. Here, the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. Okay, so we are like small Ishwaras. So we have control over our own body. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Parameshwara. Okay, he knows the pains and pleasures of everybody. Okay, so if he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. So the soul has this minute independence, like he can either listen to super soul, and he can do good activities and go to a higher grade. And no, if he doesn't, if he rejects the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does, and he commits sinful activities, then he moves to a lower class. So that minute independence is there. So that is why we are here, right? So actually, since we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so he has 100% independence. We have minute independence. So we can decide. So it's up to us. If you want to stay, we can stay in the material world or even get degraded and go into animal kingdom. Or we can do spiritual activities and go back to God. Okay. The change his body undergoes depends on him. So it's totally based on him only. The activities that he does leads him to hellish planets or heavenly planets or back to Godhead. Okay. So at the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him onto the next type of body. So all this, like during the whole of his life, whatever he does is reflected at the time of death. So at the time of death, whatever his consciousness thinks, so that will determine his birth in the next janma. Okay, so actually at the time of death, you the whole thing, what you have done mostly, that comes to your mind at the time of death. Okay, that determines your consciousness. See, if you have been doing only material activities throughout your whole life, so those only you will get the remembrance of. Your consciousness will be made of that only. Your children, your wife, your family members, your property, your money, like that. But if you have spent more time doing spiritual activities, so you will be able to remember Krishna. So then you will be able to go back to Godhead, like that. So if he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or a dog, he's sure to change to a cat's or dog's body. So if he behaves like a cat or a dog, he'll get a body of a cat or a dog. Like Bharat Maharaj, right? In the end, like he was so much focused on the deer that he forgot the reason why he came, why he left the whole kingdom, property, wife, children, everything. He forgot, and then he just became immersed in this deer. So at the time of death, because he was in the consciousness of this deer, he took the body of a deer. Okay, and if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. Okay, so if he fixes his mind that he wants to become a demigod and he achieves all godly qualities, he will come in the form of a demigod in his next birth. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. Okay, so if he does Krishna conscious activities, he will go back to Goloka Vrindavan. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything is finished. So many people, what they think, see, after this life, nothing. This body is gone, then nothing. Nothing is there. No next janma is there. With this body, everything is over. So come on, let's enjoy by hook or by crook, somehow beg, borrow, steal. Somehow we have to enjoy this body. That is what they think. So they don't understand the true concept of this soul. So the individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background for his next body. Okay, so actually, at the time of death, what happens when the body is, when we say death, it means that the subtle soul, the soul, and the super soul are transferred to the next body based on our consciousness. So, whatever in our, what is that subtle body? It consists of the mind, intelligence, false ego. So, whatever is there in your mind, suppose you have this thing that, oh, I wasn't able to become a scientist. Oh no. If you just leave your body with that intention, in your next janma, you will be given certain things so that you become a scientist. Okay, so that is stored in the mind. So after you leave this body, that subtle body is there, right? The subtle body carries that consciousness. Okay, it is stored in the mind. Okay, he still has this desire. He wants to become a scientist. So then Krishna will give. So that is stored in the subtle body, right? That subtle body will be transferred to another new body where he'll be given all the preferences to become a scientist because he wanted to, he had that desire, he wanted to prove himself. So he will be given that chance. So all that what is there in the mind is transferred through the subtle body into another body, into a new body in the next janma. Okay, one gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body, which carries the conception of the next body, develops another body in the next life. See that it is because of the subtle body, because it stores, it has subtle body means what? Mind, intelligence, false ego. In the mind, whatever we want to do, that is stored. So that subtle body is transferred to the next janma. So we continue from there because we had this desire of becoming a scientist, proving ourselves. So you will be put in such a body where you'll be able to prove yourself to become a scientist. So this process of transmigration from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence. See, the whole body, as long as it is there in this material world, it is struggling for existence in one way or the other. Okay, so this process of transmigrating from one body to another. Okay, so as the body, I mean, like once at death, so the subtle body is transferred to another new body along with the soul and the super soul. Okay, so here the same thing is shown. Okay, what is the process of transmigration? So it is the living entity acquires material mind and carries different conceptions of life from one body to the next. Analogy, as the air carries aromas. They're saying analogy air. See, if the air is passing by a garden of roses, it obviously would pass on that smell, the smell of rose, okay, or a garden of jasmine, it will give that smell. And if it passes through a garbage dump, it will give that smell, right? So as the air passes, so like that, in the subtle body, in the mind, whatever we wanted in this janma is stored in that subtle mind, in the subtle body where the mind is there. Okay, so that is carried on to the next janma. That is what they're saying. So 15.9. Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam eva cha adhishtaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. Okay, so these are the sense objects, different sense objects. So the sense ear, we say, when we say ear, it is not the physical ear. Okay, the ear which we cannot see, that is called shrotram. Only because that is there, with this ear we are able to hear the physical ear. Actually, see, some people, they're born deaf, dumb, blind. They have these eyes, outward eyes they have, but that real eyes they don't have. Okay, they what do you say? The chakshu they don't have. The real eyes they don't have. The real ears. Okay, so those are needed. See, some people, see, they have big eyes they have, but they can't see. They are blind. Okay, so that real sight is not there. The vision to see is not there. The real eyes are not there. Those eyes are called chakshu. Okay, so actual eyes are inside, not these are not, these are just physical, just a mode, so that that those inside eyes or inside ears, inside nose can be seen. It is made visible here through the external organs, but these are not the real ones that really give us the sight, the smell. Okay, these are not the actual things. Okay, the sense of touch, or what we say, sense objects, right? So real things are the sense objects, like those. Ear means actually the shrotram. Shrotram should be there, so that for the ear to hear, this is just external to show that there is ear. Through this we can hear. But this, even if it is there, some people can't hear, right? That shrotram should be there. So for each entity, animal or insect or human being, they have this shrotram. Granam means nose. Okay, those internal organs where sense, you can hear, you can smell, you can touch, you can taste. Rasanam means taste. You should have those taste buds. Okay, and Granam means nose. Okay, some people have nose, but they can't smell properly. That means that granam is spoiled. Yes, okay, that sense object is not no longer working. Okay, and sparshanam, touch. Some people, if you touch the skin, they have no touch to. Even if you beat them, pinch them, no sense they'll have. The touch is not there. Okay, so that they are talking about here. So the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, and nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. So he thus enjoys a particular sense, a set of sense objects. So all these are sense objects. Shrotram, Chakshu, Sparshanam, Rasanam, Granam. They are the actual things that should be there. If that is not there, there is no use of these external organs. These are just a display. It just means to say that if those inside one's sense objects are working only, then there is some use of these. Otherwise, these are just external sense organs. That's all. Okay, like that. So what they're saying here is, like, depending on the body you'll get a set of new sense objects. Okay, so if you are born in a body of a bear, you will have a particular set of objects, sense objects. Okay, if you're a human, you'll get a set of sense objects. If you're a bird, you'll get a certain set of sense objects to enjoy. However, like you want to enjoy that kind of sense objects, you'll get. Suppose you want to always eat only, enjoy. So maybe you'll be given the set of sense objects of a pig. It is always eating. Or some people who want to eat raw flesh, they will be given a body of a tiger, where they will be given a facility of claws. They don't even have to cook. Directly, they can kill and drink the blood and eat raw flesh. So like that, depending on each wish, they will get a different set of sense objects. If the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs in his next life, he will get the cat or dog body and enjoys. So consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes. So actually, we all are initially souls. We are originally pure like water. But what happens to the water if you add some color? It takes that color. So like that, we are actually, I mean, like similarly, consciousness is pure. For the spirit, soul is pure. But consciousness is changed according to the association of material qualities. So when the soul, it comes into this material world, when it associates with the different modes, it changes its color. Okay, it is no longer pure. Okay, because it comes in association with one of the modes or all of the modes or mixture of modes. Okay, so real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. In this state, one is in his pure life. When adulterated, he does not necessarily get a human body again. Okay, so when he comes to this material world, it's not necessary that he has to get a human body again. So it depends. He can depends on his consciousness. Okay, he can get in the next janma, he can get the body of a cat like Bharat Maharaj, right? He can get the body of cat. But some people think that once we get a human life, if there is no chance of degradation. Always we'll get human life only. They think no, it is not like that. Okay, it depends on the consciousness of what we are thinking. Like Bharat Maharaj, see, he was almost on the stage of bhava. Okay, but still, because when dying, he had the consciousness of this deer, he had to take birth as a deer. So, like that, okay? We can also get a body of a dog, a cat, hawk, demigod, or any one of the forms because we have 84 lakh species, right? So, any one of the form we can get. And 15.10 now. Ut उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढ नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. See, one who has the training, he understands, this is body, this is soul. A soul transmigrates, he goes from one body to another, and at the time of death, depending on the consciousness, the subtle bodies, soul, super soul is transferred. So he has all that knowledge. Okay, like for in the example in the picture, you can see, right? See, if you're traveling in a car, all of a sudden your car gets spoiled. And you open the bonnet and everything front and you see everything gear, everything you see, you pour water, but still your car is not working because you don't have the knowledge of the car. But now, if you call a mechanic, he will come immediately and 2 minutes he will clear everything and he will ask, Sir, please start by checking if the car is working. And if you start the car, it starts working. Why did this happen? Because the mechanic has the knowledge of how the car works. So he could do it quickly. We don't have the knowledge, right? So we should have that knowledge. That's what they're telling. The foolish, those cannot understand because they don't have that gnana chakshu. They are not trained. They don't have that knowledge. Okay. So let's see what Prabhupada says. The word gnana chakshusha is very significant. Eyes of knowledge. Gnana means knowledge. Chakshusha means the eyes, the actual eyes, right? Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life. Okay, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. See, the ignorant person, he doesn't know why he is living now at present. He thinks that, oh, everybody is living, even I have to live. Oh, I have to study. When once I'm born, I have to go to school. After school, college, then degree, then job, then marry, then children. And my children again, the children will grow, they will go to school. The same process. So they will think that there is no more routine. Maybe everybody is living like that. Even I have to live like that. I have to earn more like a donkey. And then I have to just stay comfortable. That is the goal of my life. They think that is body. They don't have this knowledge and they think that once this body is over, everything is over. Okay, so they don't have this knowledge that we are soul, we are the body, and all like the subtle body transfers, takes the consciousness, and the soul and super soul go on moving into the next body. They don't have this knowledge. Okay, those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see the spirit. See, the soul is different, body is different. Can see that the spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying in different ways. So the soul never changes. It is the body that changes. We see changes, right? Initially, we were a baby. Then we came to childhood, then boyhood, then youthhood, then adult, then old. Okay, then we die, perish. So like this, we change the bodies, but the soul is eternal. It is like it doesn't change. Okay, a person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence. So he knows how we are suffering. Otherwise, a normal person, because he's ignorant, he thinks, okay, everybody is suffering. I'm no exception. I'm also one of them. What is so special about me? And he will just continue his life just like that, like cats and dogs, he will continue. Okay, he doesn't even know, even if he knows he's suffering, he thinks, yeah, I'm not the only one suffering, everybody is suffering. Everybody is going on like that only. I will also go on like that only, like that. Okay, people need this knowledge as their conditional life is very much troublesome. They should become Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to a spiritual world. See, they don't have this knowledge that this rare human birth they've got. They use it for sense gratification like animals. But this human life, we've got to do tapasya. Okay, little hardships. Tapasya we have to do. So that what is our goal? Not earn money, and then how to spend it, how to hide it. Not that, and live comfortably. Not that is not the goal. Our goal is how to go back to Godhead, because we don't want to live in this painful world which is causing us so many miseries, right? So many people, like we have so many kleshas like Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, so many problems we have here. Okay, problems caused by your boss, your parents, your wife, your husband, your children. Everybody, we have problems. A mosquito might bite us, we may get some disease, old age. So we don't like all these, but still they are forced upon us. Okay, we don't like to die. It is forced, we have to die. So all this we have to face. So when we have this knowledge that we are the soul and our goal is to go back to Godhead, then we take up to Krishna consciousness. So that is true knowledge. Okay. So 15.11. Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyantyatmani avasthitam yatantyopi akrutatmano nainam pashyanti achetasaha. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. So, the transcendentalists on the path of spiritual realization, self realization, can see things as they are. But those who do not have, those who do not attain to self realization cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living entity. See, the ignorant don't know. See, the people who are on the path of self realization means what? They know their soul, right? So they understand that, oh, I'm a soul. I'm just wearing a dress of a human body in this janma. So, but my goal is this and this. I have to get out of this body. He knows that. But and one who has not attained the self-realization, he doesn't know about all this. He still thinks he's the body, and he earns, and then he lives like a normal animal. He lives. Yatan yatanto api akritatmanaha. So they're talking about the yogis endeavoring in a so-called yoga system of gymnastic exercise are not self-realized. So these people nowadays, what is yoga for them? They do all kinds of exercises and they maintain a healthy body, but they don't know what is actually the yoga means what? It is linking to the to the supreme. So they don't have that concept at all. They think this yoga is like just do exercises so that you have a healthy body, but they have no conscious of liberation. Okay, they don't know what is soul, nothing they don't know. But actual yoga means what? Connecting to the supreme. Okay, for that you have to know you're the soul. So they don't know all that nowadays. They just give them do yoga. They say, yeah, your health, you'll nice, yeah, your body will be healthy and strong. It will become. That's what. So-called yoga system of gymnastic exercise, they are not self-realized. So they don't understand. So they cannot understand the process of transmigration of the soul. Such people, they don't understand. They only are more interested in getting a healthy and a strong body. They are not worried about whether I'm soul or what, nothing. Okay. Only those who are into Bhakti Yoga realize the self. See, only Bhakti Yoga, so we all of us know, right? When we read the Bhagavad Gita second chapter especially, we get to know who we are. Because of Arjuna, because he is on so much on bodily platform, he thinks that he's killing everybody. So then Krishna says, no, don't worry. You all are eternal. You, the soldiers, everybody are eternal. Me, everybody is eternal. They're individual souls. They will never die. It's only the body that will die, not the soul. But we are souls. Okay, so they will understand. So only Bhakti Yoga, who practice Bhakti Yoga, they can understand. They realize the self, the world, and the Supreme Lord. They can understand how things are taking place, including the transmigration, how the soul goes from one body to another. So they know that also. The same. So the same thing is said here. So what is the result? Those not trained in knowledge are in ignorance. So they don't know. They think they're the body. So what is the cure of this ignorance? Krishna says knowledge. Obviously, if you're ignorant, you get that. If you have that knowledge, if you get that knowledge, those who are trained can see all this clearly because the mind is clarified by yoga practice and thus they are situated in self-realization. Okay, so Bhakti Yogas, they know that they are the soul and not this body. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization, they cannot see, obviously, they're ignorant what is taking place, though they may try to. Bhakti yoga yogis are the actual yogis, have realized the self. Okay, world and the Supreme Lord can see things as they are. Okay, so a person who's a bhakti yogi, he can see all the things as they are. Like I'm the soul, I'm not the body. Okay, the body is anyway temporary. It is meant to perish at one time or the other. But I am the soul. I am eternal. I will never die. Okay. So next section will go 15.12 to 15. Purushottama Yoga, Krishna's position as the maintainer. So we'll see how. Yad aditya gatam tejo jagad bhasayate akhilam yat chandramasi yatcha agnau tat tejo viddhi mamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. So we know that the sun and the moon are the eyes of the Lord, right? And the splendor of fire, Krishna says, is also from me. The splendor means lightning, kind of, okay? Brightness. Okay, the same thing. Krishna is the maintainer. So, what is the benefit of such a conception of life as given in this verse? So they're saying splendor that comes. What is it? The sun, the moon, electricity, fire, all comes from Krishna. So we are seeing this part Krishna as the maintainer. So how he is giving us the sun, the moon, electricity, fire, okay, which is very much needed, right, in the material world, because this is a place of darkness. So yesterday we saw, right, Mahatattva, it doesn't allow the effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti to enter into Mahatattva, right? So this Mahatattva is totally in darkness. That is why we have the sun. The sun is the only planet that gives effulgence in this material world. And the moon also takes the effulgence from the sun. Okay, and that is during the daytime. During nighttime, again, we'll have electricity. Okay, so let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. It is important to understand that the splendor of the sun, moon, electricity, or fire come from the Lord. So this is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. So we should know that how through Krishna consciousness, we know that Lord is maintaining the whole cosmic manifestation by giving us the sun, moon, electricity, fire. See, without these basic things, we can't do anything. Fire must and should. To cook food, to do our minimum items, we need fire. Morning sunlight is so much. Sunlight, heat, light, we need moon. Because of the moon, we'll see later what are the importance of the moon. And electricity, we need all this, right? Otherwise, we can't survive. Hardly 1 or 2 hours of electricity goes, we are like upside down. We feel, oh, when will the power come back? We are like struggling. Okay, like that. So in such a conception, the conditioned soul is considered as advancing in knowledge in this material world. Okay, so once he knows that Krishna is maintaining through all this, like he is like advancing in knowledge. He sees that, oh, this is not just some energy, prakriti, it has just come up like that and everything is running accidentally. It is not like that. It is Krishna who is providing the sun, moon, everything. Like he is maintaining us through all these. Okay, we come in knowledge. So then when we try to see the sun or the moon, we thank the sun, we thank the moon. I mean, if you die, I mean, like, we just say, thank you so much for the light and heat that you're giving. That's it. Okay, being grateful, that's all. As the living entities are essentially parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, they are herein hinted by the Lord how to go back home to Godhead. See, because we are children of the Lord, parts and parcels, and we are meant to, like a child is meant to stay with the father, right? So that's why Krishna is hinting, telling, giving us all this knowledge. You please come back to me. That's why he's giving all this knowledge. Okay, see, as the living entities are essentially parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, they are herein hinted by the Lord how to come back to Godhead. See, sometimes we don't directly tend to worship the Lord. Some people are there, right? They don't believe Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such people, they can indirectly worship the Lord. See, they give preference to the natural elements like sun, moon. So they pray every day to the sun. Sun is nothing but the eye of the Lord. So indirectly they're praying Krishna. So let them at least pray like that. So that is Krishna is just hinting somehow or the other. You think of me so that you can come back to me. The sun illuminates the entire solar system. So we know, right, that sun is the only planet which illuminates light in the entire solar system. Okay, the different universes existing have different solar system with different suns, moons, and planets. So we said right from Mahavishnu, millions of universes are coming, and each universe, all these universes, each universe has a different sun, moon, and different planets. Okay, but each universe has only one sun. Okay, the Bhagavad Gita 10.21, the moon is one of the stars. Nakshatranam aham shashi. Krishna says, okay. So it means among all the stars, I am the moon. So here they are saying moon is not a planet, it is also a star, they are saying. Okay, so we should note that difference. So sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. So how is the sunlight getting this effulgence? It is coming from Krishna, from Krishna's body, that is called Brahma Jyoti. That Brahma Jyoti is filled whole in the spiritual world. So that light is transferred to the sun. That is why the sun is so effulgent, because it is getting the light from there, from the Brahma Jyoti. Okay, with the rising of the sun, the activities of the human being start, right? So we start our activities when we get up in the morning at 3:30, 4:30, or 5, whenever. But with the rising of the sun, our activities generally start, right? So fire is said to prepare their foodstuff. We need fire, right? The first thing to prepare any of our tiffin or anything, we need the fire. Breakfast, starting of the day. So some people drink coffee or milk in the morning. So like that they need. Okay, the fire is said to prepare the food stuff and start the factories, etc. So fire helps in many ways. It so plays a vital role in our life. So without fire, we can't do anything. So sunrise, fire, and moonlight are so pleasing to the living entities. So without their help, no living entity can live. Moonshine, what it does, it nourishes all the vegetables. The pleasing moonshine is a mercy of the Lord. So actually, when the moon rays fall on the vegetables and fruits, it gives the juiciness. It gives the shine to that vegetable or fruit. That is what moonshine does. Okay. So 15.13. Gam avishya cha bhutani dharayamyaham ojasa pushnami cha chaushadihi chaushadihi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So, what is Krishna saying? See, what do we say when the planets are rotating in the solar system around the sun nicely in their orbit? We say that because the scientists tell us this concept of gravity. By gravitational force, they are rotating in their orbits, we say. That is what we study in the books. But here, what are they saying? Through Krishna's energy, Krishna is controlling all of them. That is why they are able to, not one planet is not colliding with another planet. That is why in a particular nicely, because Krishna is controlling, they're in the grip of Krishna. So through Krishna's energies, they're nicely being run. Because Krishna is there, they are able to nicely rotate in their orbit very in a systematic way. But the scientists give it a term called gravity. But it is actually Krishna who is controlling all of them. Because Krishna enters this through his energies and he controls them. Okay, so that everything moves perfectly. So let's see what Prabhupada says in the report. All the planets are floating in the air only by the energy of the Lord Nilu. The Lord enters into every atom, planet, and living being as Paramatma. Okay, his plenary portion. So Lord, he enters into even every atom. We saw, right, super soul, he enters into every living entity, even to the smallest of small atom. Okay, as Paramatma, his plenary portion. So that is discussed in Brahma Samhita. So due to his entrance, everything is appropriately manifested. So when the spirit soul is there, a living man can float on water. Right? See, when we are living, we can swim and we can float on water, right? But when this part, I mean, like when this soul is out of the body and the body is dead, you can see if you put a dead body in water, it sinks. Okay, but you may see that after decomposing, like after a few days, when it decomposes, then it floats. That is different. But as soon as the madman is, I mean, as soon as the man is dead, we see that he sinks initially. Okay, so but when the soul is there, he floats. Okay, because he knows the art of how to swim, he floats. Right? So similarly, now all planets, why they are floating in space? Because the super soul is there. Super soul or Krishna. Okay, he is entering into all this. Like how into the body the soul is entering. That is why he is able to float in water. Like that, Krishna through his energy enters into all these and solar system, and he is controlling all these planets and everything so that they rotate in a particular way. So that is why they are floating. Okay. So similarly, all the planets float in space due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme. His energy is sustaining each planet like a handful of dust or soil. So you see, how are they comparing? See, if someone holds a handful of dust or soil, there is no possibility of its falling. Okay, the moment it is left off the fist, it will fall down. So like see, if you take in your hand some mud and you hold it tightly like this, so there is no chance of the mud falling down, right? So like that, what is Krishna doing? The floating planets are actually held in the fist of the universal form of the Lord. So Krishna is holding all the universe, the planets in his fist like this, all the floating planets in his grip like this. Okay, so that is why they are able to rotate in a particular nice systematic way. His strength and energy make all moving and non-moving things stay in their place. It is due to the supreme personality of Godhead that the moon nourishes all vegetables, making them delicious. Without moonshine, the vegetables can neither grow nor taste succulent. Okay, nor succulent means juicy. The very survival of human society is due to the abundant mercy of the Lord. So we initially many times we spoke, right? This whole Prakriti is, I mean, Prakriti or the living entities or demigods, we cannot live independent of the Lord. It is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Because the mercy of the Lord, everything is running in its proper way, how it has to run. The sun rises every time in the morning perfectly. The moon also rises every time at its proper time, and the sun sets at its proper time. And the all four seasons, different seasons, come at their respective times. So how is all this happening? Unless there is someone who is monitoring all this, how can it happen? Right? So that person is Krishna. And Krishna too is through his energies, he is maintaining this material cosmic manifestation. Okay, Rasatmakaha means everything becomes palatable by the influence of the moon on the agent of the Supreme. An agent, moon, an agent of the Supreme. Okay. So now let's go to the next shloka. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pranapana Samayukta Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. So he's telling many ways, like how is the sun, the moon, fire. Now he's saying how through the moon and how he's maintaining the whole universe. He's holding them they're in the grip. That is why all the planets are moving. So Krishna is showing how he is the maintainer, okay, of this cosmic manifest. Now he is saying he is the fire of digestion. Okay, sometimes say we the food doesn't get digested, and then that is the main reason we get diseases, right? And we eat so much, but even though we know our digestion capacity is less, we eat a lot, because of which digestion does not happen, and food remains in the stomach, because of which the bacteria come, and then because of which diseases come. Okay, so mainly because of the digestion problems only, the main diseases are formed. Okay, so we should try to eat less. When depending on our body, we know how much our body can digest, so that much only we should have. So here Krishna is saying that he is the fire of digestion. I am the fire of digestion in every living body, and I am the air of life, outgoing and incoming, by which I digest the four kinds of foodstuff. So according to Ayurveda, there is a fire in the stomach that digests all food, Jataragni. So when the fire is improper, has to be treated. Okay, so if you are not, if the fire is not able to digest properly, it has to be treated. So this fire is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vedic mantras also confirm that the Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach, digesting all kinds of foodstuffs. Ayam Agnir Vaishwanaro Yam Antah Purushe Yenadam Annam Pachate. Since the eating process is controlled by the Lord, living entity is not independent in this. So, enjoying different foods is also the grace of the Lord. Okay. So, some people, they'll be able to eat a lot of food. Some people cannot take that much amount of food. So, that's why they're saying enjoying different foods is also a grace of the Lord. So, there are four kinds of foodstuffs. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked. And he is the digestive force for all of them. Okay. Okay, so Krishna is the maintainer of the material world. To digest, we need Krishna's energy as fire and life airs, outgoing and incoming. Okay. Next 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritirjnanamapohanam cha vedaischa sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. So, what are they saying? What is Krishna saying? I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Okay, by all the Vedas am I to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Okay. So what is Krishna saying? Okay, so let's see the purport and then we'll understand. Okay. So thus the Lord is not only all pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. So we know that the Lord, he's throughout the cosmic manifestation, we know that is one form, but he is there in our heart as Paramatma. Okay, in everybody's heart he is there as super soul. So all activities are initiated from him. So anything that we do, it comes as an is being governed by him. Okay, so the living entity actually in the past janma, generally when we die and we come into the next janma, we forget everything about our past. Who is it that who makes forgets it? Whatever is required to be forgetful, the super soul makes it forgetful. Whatever is needed to be remembered, that he again gives knowledge of. Okay, but actually the soul he forgets everything. That's why they're saying, from me come remembrance. So he gives, as super soul, he gives the remembrance. He gives the knowledge. He gives the forgetfulness. Which should be forgotten, that will be forgotten. What should be remembered, that remembrance will be given. So that kind of knowledge will be given to him. So the living entity forgets everything of his past life. So he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is the witness to all his work. So because we forgot what we wanted, maybe so like for example, we said, right, I wanted to become a scientist in the next Janma. I couldn't become scientist. I couldn't complete my dream. So with that consciousness, you die. So next Janma, you'll get the consciousness of that only. And but we don't remember as souls. So Krishna gives us the knowledge. Gives us the remembrance. Okay, so this is where you left in your next life, last life. Now you wanted to become this. Now you start again. This is your goal for this Janma. And he gives us a remembrance. Okay, then the soul starts acting according to that. But the soul, supreme soul, he knows, right? Because he's there in everybody's heart, he knows what their desires were. And so he gives them the remembrance so that each soul can start his work again. Okay, so therefore he begins his work according to his past deeds. So Lord Krishna graces him with the required knowledge and memory as he does not remember anything about his past life. So Krishna gives the remembrance because he doesn't remember. He is worshipable as the impersonal Brahman, the supreme personality of Godhead, localized Paramatma, and also as the form of incarnation of the Vedas as well. So we know that there we can realize Krishna in three forms. First is like the impersonal Brahman, okay, and the localized Paramatma, and the final is Bhagavan himself. Okay, and here they're saying as the form of incarnation of the Vedas as well. Okay, so who wrote the Vedas? It is Vedavyas, who is an incarnation of the Lord. The Vedas give the right direction to the people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna, in his incarnation as Vyasadeva, is the compiler of Vedanta Sutra. Antah pravishtaha shasta jananam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again. See, the Lord gives the remembrance. Like you stopped here, you continue from here. It is like as if, like how in the night we sleep, right? And morning again we start our work from where we left off yesterday night. We again start from the morning, like that. So last Janma we stopped here, and next Janma it is like we are waking up in the morning, and again Krishna as Super Soul gives us the remembrance, like, and then we continue in the next Janma, like that. Although he forgets, the Lord gives him the intelligence to renew his work from where he ended in his last life and suffer or enjoy in this world. So he will continue his journey. Now, God gives him that remembrance. Okay, this is what you want to do. Now it's your life. I've told you this is your goal, and I'm putting you in such a body where you can you can achieve your goal. And then he just acts as a witness. He just gives him the guidance. So this is what he wanted to become, and that's it. Then it's left to him how he enjoys or suffers, okay, per his karma. So he also gets the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him if he's serious. The knowledge of the Vedas is given to the living entity to understand Krishna. Okay, so in all Vedic literature, beginning from the four Vedas, Vedanta Sutra and the Upanishads and the Puranas, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated. The Lord is attainable by performance of Vedic rituals, discussing Vedic philosophy, and by worship of the Lord in devotional service. Okay, so that's what they're saying. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.4 confirms the following words. Tattu Samanvayat. Samanvayat, that means that we can understand Krishna through the Vedic literatures. That's what they're saying. One can attain perfection in 3 stages. Okay, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. But generally, what do people do? Vedas, they read Vedas to perform rituals, karma kanda. Okay, because they want to go to heavenly planets. They do read the Vedas and they do yagnas and all pious activities they do. But that is just a small portion of the Vedas. But the main thing about the Vedas is you have to understand Krishna. Okay, understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, performing the different processes, one can approach him through devotional. See, you can do different processes also and can approach him. So instead of going through gnana or dhyana and all these processes, what they are saying, through devotional service, one can attain the supreme goal, the Supreme Lord. Okay, that is the best process. Okay. 16. द्वौ इमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्च अक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थो अक्षर उच्यते. Okay, there are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Okay, so what does this mean? Living entity is fallible because he is actually the soul is pure, but when he comes into this material world, because he is tied up by these 3 modes of nature, there is a chance that he falls down. He falls down, obviously. But Krishna, he is transcendental. Though he comes to this material planet, he is infallible. He is not affected by the 3 modes. He is nirguna. Though he is the creator of all these 3 modes, he is nirguna. He is never untouched by these modes. So he is infallible. He does not fall down. We fall down in this material world because of the 3 modes. Okay. So that is what this we already saw, right? Matta smriti gnanam apohanam cha. So from Krishna we get the remembrance, forgetfulness and knowledge. So Veda is to sarver ahameva vedyo. So through all the Vedas I am to be known. So Vedanta krit Vedavid eva cha aham. I am the compiler of the Vedas, Krishna is saying. Okay, so Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. So he's saying, I'm there in the as super soul in the heart of everybody, every living entity, in the everybody. Okay, now section D, 16 to 20. What the Purushottama Yoga, the 3 shloka Bhagavad Gita, summarizing the Vedas and the Vedanta kinds of living entities. What's so? So, according to Vedanta Sutra, compiled by the Lord's incarnation as Vyasadeva, the innumerable living entities can be divided into the fallible and infallible. Living entities are eternally separated parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta. Okay? Actually, if they are in the spiritual world, they are not, they're infallible. Okay, but since the soul is come into this material world, he gets entangled by these modes, and that is why he's called Jiva Bhuta. So Kshara Sarvani Bhutani means they are fallible. Okay, and that is why they are fallible in the material world. Those in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible. So those who are in the spiritual world with God, they are called infallible. So oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but there is no disunity. Okay. There is oneness means they are saying that they have all the same qualities as God. Okay. That so oneness does not mean that they merge into God and become one with God and they lose their individuality. Okay. So that we should understand. They all agree that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is the source of all emanations. See, everything, he is the cause of all causes. So everything comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? That is what is stated in the Vedanta Sutra. The conditioned living entities who are struggling in this world with the mind and five senses have their material bodies which are changing. Okay? In the spiritual world, the body is not made of matter, therefore, there's no change. Okay? Only here in this material world, we tend to change different types of bodies. Okay, like we see, right, boyhood, we have one body, then childhood, we have one body, youthhood, one body, and adult, one body, old, one body. Like that, we have different bodies. But there, in the spiritual world, there is no change. Everything there is eternal. Okay, because there is no birth, death, old age, nothing there. So we don't change bodies there. So in the material world, the living entities, they undergo six changes. What? Birth, growth, duration, reproduction, then dwindling and vanishing, they die. In the spiritual world, the body does not change. There is no old age, no birth, no death. They all exist in oneness. Sharaha Sarvani Bhutani. Any living entity who has come in contact with matter, beginning from the first created being, Brahma, down to the small ant, is changing its body. Therefore, they are fallible. Okay, so they change bodies, that's why they are fallible. In the spiritual world, however, they are always liberated in oneness. Okay. Now 15.17. Uttamaha purushastu anyaha paramatmeti udahritaha yo lokatrayam avishya bhivarti avyaya ishvaraha. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has centered the three worlds and is maintaining them. So, besides this fallible and infallible personalities, there is one more Super Soul, Supreme Soul, who is maintaining everybody. These two and everybody, the whole cosmic manifestation. Okay. So what is it? Let's see what Prabhupada says. According to Katha Upanishad and Shvetasvatara Upanishad, and the Upanishadic verse runs as follows. Nityo Nityanam and Chaitanas Chaitananam. This means what? This means amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one supreme living personality, the supreme personality of Godhead as Paramatma. Okay, so he is the supreme personality who governs both the conditioned and the liberated. Okay, the fallible and infallible. So he maintains them and he gives them all the facility of enjoyment according to different work. That supreme personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. A wise man who can understand him is eligible to attain perfect peace and not others. Okay. Now 15.16. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and infallible. Again, is it repeated? Yeah, it's repeated. Okay. So we finished here 15.17, right? So let's go to 18. Yeah, here. Yasmat sharam atito aham aksharad api cha uttamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratitaha purushottamaha. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the supreme person. Okay, so it's understandable, right? He is beyond the fallible and the infallible, and because I'm the greatest, and he's celebrated in both the worlds, in the spiritual world as well as in the material world as a supreme person. So, although the living entities and the supreme Lord are both individuals, the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity his inconceivable potency. See, we may be same in quality like the Lord, okay, but uh, like quantity wise we differ. We may have 1% of qualities of Krishna, but Krishna is like 100%. He's Satchit Ananda, right? Eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss. We are like in quality we are similar to him, but in quantity we vary. Okay. So it is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level. are in equal in all respects. Okay, so we are Anu, Krishna is Vibhu. Okay, in no way that we can become equal to God. Like the impersonalists, they think, right? They merge into the Brahman and they think they become God. Okay, not like that. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities, obviously, right? So Krishna is superior and we are inferior. Krishna is the master and we are the servant. That difference is always there because he is the one who's maintaining us, right? And we are maintained. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. The Vedas, Chandogya Upanishad state the super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So here super soul means the soul. Okay, don't think literally that super soul, okay? Um, the expansion of the Lord. So the super soul means the spirit soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Okay, here basically they're just trying to tell the difference, right? Whatever be the reason, whether it is impersonal Brahman or Paramatma, localized Paramatma, the supreme is called, see the Lord in his form, he remains in his spiritual identity. So though he may be realized as through his energies, but he still remains in his spiritual identity. What is that spiritual identity? That supreme is called the supreme personality, exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. See, that he is actually the Godhead, supreme personality of Godhead. From him, illumination is coming. I mean, that brightness, from his body, that is called Brahma Jyoti, impersonal Brahman. And what is the second stage of realization? Localized Paramatma. Whatever be it, so the Bhagwan realization is the ultimate and the best realization. And both of these are contained in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what they're saying. Finally, the self-same Supreme Personality also has a localized aspect as Paramatma. So by incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara, who is the son? Satyavati and Parashara, son is Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, he gave us the Vedas. Okay. So three shloki Gita. Okay. So what are they saying here? 15 or 16, 17, 18. So there are two kinds of entities. Fallible, that is conditioned in the material world, and infallible, liberated in the spiritual world. Okay. The Supreme Soul is the master of both the fallible and the infallible. He is the greatest personality. He enters the three worlds and he maintains them. Okay, next. Krishna says that I am the Supreme Soul, celebrated both in this world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Okay, see, we can see, right? Even in the spiritual world, I mean, in the material world, this itself is right. They are praying. Even we can see Lord Shiva, their devatas, they're planning, they're worshipping Vishnu. Here we can see Brahma along with the demigods, they are meditating to get a solution when in a need, when there's a problem. So we can see behind Vishnu, he is giving them guidance. Okay. And here Parvati once asked Lord Shiva, see, you are always meditating on someone. Who is it that you're always meditating on? Because everybody meditates on you. Whom are you meditating on? So he says that I'm meditating on Lord Vishnu. Okay. So then, even then, meditating on Lord Vishnu, he says, meditating on the devotees of Lord Vishnu is much better. Okay, I actually forgot that sloka. So he says that we should actually worship the devotees of the Lord or serve the devotees of the Lord. That is even more good kind of worship. Okay. The next sloka. Yo mam evam asammudo janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Okay. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. Okay, So we should worship Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead with faith. See, many people they do devotional service, but they don't have the faith that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, but that is of not much use. You should have faith. Okay, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Then you will listen. Then, when you know He is God, then you will take the instructions of Bhagavad Gita seriously. If you don't take Him as God, you will take Him like a mundane person, right? Like a material person or a king or something, and you will just take it casually. You won't take the instructions seriously. You won't feel like following them. Okay, with faith, you have to take Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, and engage in his devotional service. So let's see what Prabhupada says. The Lord clearly explains one who truly knows him is the actual knower of everything. Such a person, devotee, without wasting any time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, should receive the Vedic knowledge called Shruti direct from Krishna or his representatives. Vedas generally, they used to hear, right? Shruti. Their mantras, right? They used to say Om, some mantra they will say, and they'll do sacrifices, everything, right? Like that. So Shruti means hearing. So they used to hear directly from Krishna or his representatives. Should submissively accept that living entities are always are subordinate to the Lord, not like the impersonalists who think that after liberation they become one with the Lord, equal to the Lord, and they lose their individuality. No, actually, we always have our individuality separate from the Lord, and we are always never equal to the Lord. We are always subordinate to the Lord. Okay, we are Jivera Swarupahoy Nityara Krishna Das. We are the servants of Lord Krishna. Such a person is supposed to be truly knowing the purpose of the Vedas. One should not simply speculate academically. According to Vaishnava Parampara, one engaged in devotional service of Krishna need not adapt any other spiritual process for understanding supreme absolute truth. See, if we do devotional service, everything is included in it. You don't have to do any other spiritual practice. If you just do devotional service to Krishna, everything is included. Reading of the Vedas, performing sacrifices, donations, charitable, going to, donating for charity, everything, all pious activities, nothing specially you have to do. It is all included. Only if you do devotional service. It is like you are watering the root, the whole tree is nourished. You don't have to water the leaf, the tree, trunk, like that, branch, nothing. And even if you do that also, it's of no use unless you water the root. So like that, if you do devotional service to Krishna, you are like doing everything. Okay? His preliminary process of understandings are ended. So he knows now nothing else is to be done. Okay? Only if he does that, that is enough. Okay? So 15.20. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita kritayascha bharata. So this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Now Krishna is saying this is the most confidential part. So he'll be telling about devotional service now. Okay. So what is he telling? Devotional service is the process of spiritual understanding. Frees one from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. So when you take up the devotional service, you rise above these three modes. You get liberated. You are in Shuddha Sattva. You become Nirguna. So makes one intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. Devotional service and material contamination cannot coexist, right? Whereas devotional service, you are no more in the material world. So even in the material world, when you are doing devotional service, you are considered no longer material. Okay, you have become liberated though in this material world. Okay, so the Lord is said to be the sun, and ignorance is called Maya, darkness. So wherever the sun is present, there's no question of darkness or Maya, right? So we should always try to be Krishna consciousness. So to avoid Maya consciousness or darkness. Okay, in the presence of devotional service, under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there can be no ignorance. So, we have to for sure accept a bona fide spiritual master, not like the Gnana yogis who they go to the forest, they only bring their Vedas, they read by themselves, they think they're very intelligent, they speculate, it could be like this, like that. No, we actually take a bona fide spiritual master, and through him or his representatives, we understand, we get the knowledge. Okay, and then we do devotional service under their guidance. The word anaga, by which Arjuna is addressed, is very significant. Means anaga means sinless one. So only one is, if one is free from all sinful reactions, it is unless one is free from all sinful reactions, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. So people who are full of sin, it is very difficult for them to come to this path of devotional service. They are so much involved in these fruitive activities that they want everything, the results, what they do, they want for themselves only. Okay, so once if they are free from all these sinful reactions, only can they take to Krishna consciousness. Devotional service is so very pure and powerful that it automatically makes one sinless. Okay, so if you take to devotional service, but somehow you become pure and powerful, because the practice of devotional service will make itself, I mean, you don't have to make special endeavors. When you are doing devotional service, automatically it makes you sinless. While performing devotional service, one must shred weakness of heart. Okay, what is this weakness of heart? One second. Yeah, the weakness of heart is like you have to leave sense gratification. One second. Yeah, so that is it. He has to give up. The weakness of the heart means he should give up sense gratification. That is working to satisfy his senses. He should work to satisfy the senses of Krishna. So he should not be so much attached to family, friendship, society, wealth, and everything. Okay, so he should give up all of those. So that weakness of the heart he has to give up. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature that prevents performing transcendental loving service to the Lord. Okay, the first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. See, why have we come to this material world? Because we wanted to enjoy separate from the Lord. Okay, and so because he has come here, he is under the illusion that he is the master now. So if he thinks he is the master, how can he accept Krishna as the master? He cannot, right? So that is the first point that prevents him from performing transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is the second fall down? Is after he comes to this world, he gets attached to matter because he wants to enjoy, right? He has come here to enjoy. He wants to be the master. So everything in this material world he gets attached to. He says it is mine. Okay, this is my wife, this is my husband, this is my children, this is my house. So he gets attached. This is my property. Okay, they are my relatives. This is my business. So like that is the second fall down. He gets more and more attached. Okay, due to the propensity to lord over material nature. So first five verses describe the process of freeing from the weakness of the heart, and from sixth through the end we saw Purushottam Yoga. Okay, so let's see here 20 summary. So the last sloka. So the summary of Purushottam Yoga. First is knowledge explained in this chapter is the essence of the Vedanta and the most confidential part, substance of the Vedas. So that is, they talk about devotional service, right? Two, what is the result of understanding? So one will understand, one will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So by practicing Krishna consciousness, you become wise and you know what is the goal of life, and you will achieve that perfection. What is the qualification to understand Purushottam Yoga? So you have to be sinless. Okay, to understand Purushottam Yoga. So we've completed for today. Okay. So please let me know if